Hi everyone, this week we have been looking at the GIF. GIFs are animated pictures or videos that use a continuous visual loop structure. The format of the GIF was invented by Steve Wilhite in 1987 and was the first moving part of the internet. There were 5 readings this week, so I'm going to start by discussing An Honour of the Creator of the GIF by Amy O'Leary. The GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format and was honoured Word of the Year in 2012 to its creator Steve Wilhite, who also accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Webby Awards for his contribution to internet culture. Almost anything can be made into a GIF now, from, as O'Leary puts it, rapid-fire political commentary to small moments of celebrity intrigue. She says that the GIF has become the aesthetic calling card of modern internet culture. Back in 1987, when it was first invented, dial-up connections were poor, but with technology today, it has become a lot easier to create a GIF. The first ever GIF was a picture of an aeroplane released in June 1987, and the GIF soon moved fast into internet culture, and today has become the ultimate meme maker. There are millions of GIFs circulating on the internet, but according to Wilhite, the Dancing Baby GIF from 1996 remains a classic and remains a favourite of his. Wilhite remains angry about the debate over the pronunciation of the word GIF. He says it's actually pronounced GIF, but I think that if it were to be commonly pronounced correctly, it would be spelt with a J and not a G. The second reading for this week was GIF Today by Daniel Rubinstein. He reminds us that before the GIF, the computer screen was a motionless and silent place populated only by columns and tables. With the introduction of the GIF, it created a breakthrough of twists and flickers in browser windows, frame-by-frame animation, and was part of not only a nostalgic turn towards the blurred and unsharp, but a marker of energetic digital imagery. This reminds me of how old Windows computers from the late 1990s and early 2000s had GIF-like screensavers. When seeing these, it releases a sense of nostalgia. Because of the repeating rhythm of the GIF, it results in a comedic effect. The infinite circle motion of the GIF is reminiscent of the cheerful carousel. This shatters the illusion of truthful representation. Even the most truthful image can lose realistic value in the form of an animated GIF, because its repetitive nature adds humorous effect. The third reading that I will be discussing is Fresh from the Internet's Attic by Alex Williams. Williams describes the animated GIF as a choppy, crude snippet of video loop that harken back to dial-up modems. They are hypnotically repeating and are popping in art galleries and social media sites such as Tumblr, where entire pages are devoted to viral GIFs that are plucked from biggest news events such as awkward award show moments, they circulate as a must-see meme, reinforcing the ideas of GIFs evoking a sense of nostalgia. Williams uses a quote from Jason Tanz, who says that the GIF is a relic of childhood for people like me in their 20s. I completely agree with this statement, as I see many GIFs from many of my childhood films such as these. With the emergence of Web 2.0, GIFs became easier to make thanks to web-based apps such as ImageFlip, Meme Maker and GIF Soup, which is how I made my own GIFs. GIFs are used to make written points. They function as glorified emoticons to punctuate a point, and they help convey meaning. I myself have noticed how blog posts on websites such as BuzzFeed use GIFs to tell a story. For example, there is one blog post on BuzzFeed called 15 Things All Girls Can Relate to. Each one of these 15 things are told as a story through a GIF. Many celebrity GIFs also circulate online, which tell us what is trending in the viral video circuit, news and pop culture. As well as O'Leary, Williams mentions how GIF was voted Word of the Year in 2012 by the August Oxford American Dictionaries, which, according to Catherine Martin, the head of the United States Dictionaries program at Oxford University Press, means that the GIF has evolved from a medium for pop cultural memes into a tool with serious applications including research and journalism, and its lexical identity is transforming to keep pace. According to Carl Goodman, the GIF provides a link between today's technologically sophisticated visual culture and the 19th century, before movies, when short bursts of looping motion captured the public imagination on moving picture devices such as the zoetrope. This idea links to the next reading I'm going to discuss, which is called The Wheel of the Devil, on Vines, GIFs and the Power of the Loop by Chris Baranyuk. This article was published a week after the Vine web application was launched in January 2013. In his essay, Baranyuk considers the purpose and power of the loop, how it is empowered by digital media, and how the loop offers new perceptions of reality. With the invention of the zoetrope in the early to mid-1800s by William George Horner, the looping animation was born. When the zoetrope was spun, a cylindrical tub would produce an animation. The zoetrope is popularly referred to as the Wheel of the Devil due to its hesitation towards hypnotic magic performed by the zoetrope in an age which predates the arrival of cinema. The zoetrope is described by Baranyuk as bringing imagery to life in seemingly magical ways, where a sudden connection of static pictures begin an endless and mesmerizing dance. Animated GIFs are compared to the zoetrope because of their looping nature, but are also different because whereas the zoetrope can be stopped and started by its user in the physical world, the GIF will loop endlessly in the virtual world. As mentioned before, the looping format can be comical. Baranyuk reinforces this by saying, the loop seems inherently comical and absurd, and becomes funny in a new way through being repeated so relentlessly. Even high-definition animations can become GIFs, such as max capacity exploring low-res identity and to show the presence of white noise and colour imbalance. An article titled Loop Guru states that although nothing really happens in the GIF, it is hard to stop watching because they offer a mental state of pleasure and mediation. The zoetrope, and in most cases the GIF, have non-existent beginnings and endings. They are described as broken records and psychotic imagery which begs to be halted and set free. The Vine also has a similar looping structure to the GIF. Vines are 6 to 7 second clips that loop endlessly, which I will be discussing more about in week 9's vlog. Baranyuk questions why the creators of the Vine decided to make looping a feature platform, and suggests that it might have been because they wanted to capitalise in on the idea of the GIF, causing Vine to be referred to as the new GIF. Baranyuk compares the loop structure to the looping motion of our planet, representing its relentless and continuous status. Something I found most interesting about this essay was the part that discussed the criticism of the media coverage of 9/11. The news footage of 9/11 has been compared to the looping format, and in 2011, American artist Scott Blake created the 9/11 zoetrope, where he used footage of United Airlines Flight 175 crashing into the South Tower of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. Many people consider 9/11 art to be taboo, but Blake wanted to express how the news media had no problem showing the clips of the plane crashes, building collapses, and people committing suicide numerous times on national and international television. CNN replayed the footage of the plane crashes 109 times throughout the day on September 11th, from 9 a.m. to midnight. The reason why repeated images of 9/11 are compared to the devil loop is because this repetition terrorised the public, onlooking the events of that day, giving power to the very people that wanted to frighten us, according to Blake. Repeated images of such terror and devastation mirror the idea of the loop being demonic. In this article, Matlin describes the GIF as infinite and entrancing. Matlin tells us the story of Mark Gonzal, who assembled a selection of GIFs from popular culture to help shape his writing. These GIFs included ones from music videos such as Rebecca Black's Friday video, from films such as Mean Girls and Anchorman, and from TV shows such as Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Saturday Night Live. From these GIFs, and many similar to them, Gonzal created a story called The Complete Guide to America's Job Crisis and the Failure of Monetary Policy Using Animated GIFs. This proves how the GIF has evolved from an obscure file format to an art movement and now to a page view crutch. Another example is BuzzFeed pages telling stories through using GIFs, which I mentioned earlier. Matlin then goes on to discuss how social networking sites such as Tumblr are big parts of the GIF community, and considers how GIFs can be referred to as mashups of video clips or repackaged videos that can express different meanings depending on the context. He also discusses the table and the cut GIF, which is perfectly edited and reinforces this idea of no beginning and no ending, creating a spooky and trippy illusion. The most important ideas to remember about the GIF is that the concept of the looping image was ingrained into society through the fascination of the zoetrope. The GIF became extremely popular in the 1990s, but re-emerged with the introduction of social networking sites such as Tumblr. There are two main types of GIFs that circulate online. One of them is the frame grab GIF that take parts from pop culture such as music videos and films, and the other type is the reaction GIF that conveys emotions such as shock and happiness. GIFs are therefore extremely versatile, have become commercialised, and they can be used in art galleries, marketing and advertising, to create political messages, and to explain funny stories on websites such as studentbeans.com and BuzzFeed.com to relate to personal lives. GIFs have also had an impact on journalism. For example, they can be used to report American football highlights and award show highlights. Although GIFs are extremely popular, they have received criticism because of how GIFs reverse photographic process and destroy the original meaning of content through the emphasis on movement. Another criticism is the looping format of the GIF. It is described as demonic, hypnotic, and the devil loop.